Hello everyone, and today I will be sharing with you the top 5 biggest nerfs that have ever happened in Hypixel skyblock. These nerfs are so insane that they dramatically affected the prices of related items and made players a lot weaker in general. Please note these nerfs may be ranked differently depending on your opinion. Please comment down how you feel about these nerfs, how you would have ranked them, which one you think was most impactful or particularly impactful to you. Anyways, let's get started. Alright, so first up at number 5 we have the strength nerf. Now this was probably the biggest magnitude nerf on the list, but due to the fact that it wasn't as big of a nerf in general as some of the other nerfs, this is in 5th place. This update came out in 2021, where the admins basically thought that strength was still OP. Because of its exponential growth nature, they decided they want to cut back on everyone's damage. It was causing large damage gaps between early and late game players, and late game players were literally able to do like 10 to 20, maybe even 100 times more damage than early game players, because that's how exponential models work. Therefore, they decided that they were going to nerf it, effectively turning it into additive growth instead. This change was pretty big and pretty much upset the entire skyblock community except a few people, which this might be a part of the reason why their player count is so low compared to 2 years ago, which I think this is something that they should stop doing. If so much players are going to quit from these nerfs, why would you make these nerfs in the first place? Nobody was complaining about doing too much damage. But anyways, that's the strength nerf. Alright, next up we have the Flower of Truth nerf in August of 2022. This set the required floor to use the weapon from no requirement to floor 6, which kinda created a paradox. By the time players had actually met the requirements to use the Flower of Truth, they had a lot of better options rather than this weapon. What once was a good early mid-game weapon, even better before the strength nerf in fact, now became a good early mid-game weapon that required mid-late game to use it. So not really anybody could use it. It wasn't really useful anymore. And before the strength nerf and this nerf, the Flower of Truth was actually going for about 7 million coins. Right now it's going for less than 700,000 coins. Alright, so in 3rd place we have the Judy Shortcut nerf, which was actually in the same patch as the Flower of Truth nerf. This update basically made the required Enderman Slayer of the Judy Shortbow go from level 3 to level 5. Now that wasn't very fun, because basically all the Juju Nons only had Enderman Slayer 3, and Enderman Slayer 5 was way up there. This caused Judy Shortbows to be inaccessible to the majority of its users, and caused a massive flood in the market, at one point in which there was more than 1,000 Judy Shortbows being sold at once. The prices of Judy Shortbow is like 40% of what it once was. It was a pretty big nerf. In 2nd place we have the bow nerf, which can also be considered the boomerang nerf. This nerf basically made it so that there was no more aimbot on bows. You actually had to aim and use skill to kill mobs. Crazy, right? This was skyblock we're talking about. Anyways, this basically ruined the boomerang along with archer class, because basically back then you could just shoot a random arrow and then it would like keep track on the nearest mob, but they didn't have this now, so it's like a lot harder to actually hit the mob. And the prices of boomerang literally died. Here's a price graph. In just a few days it went from 26 million coins to 800,000 coins. It came back to about 4 million coins, but it was pretty insane about just how much the prices dropped because of a nerf. Now in 1st place, we have the single biggest nerf in Hypixel skyblock history, the Jerry Sheen Gun Nerf. If you didn't see the Jerry Sheen Gun before the nerf, just imagine if you turned a Ray dagger into an aspect of a Jerry. That's basically what they did. A pretty useful mage weapon, which I actually used with my Berserker setup back when I was early game, and a great tool to get the energy crystals in 4-7, now literally became a decent jump. While the damage didn't change, its mana cost changed from 10 to 30 plus the number of consecutive shots you just fired. Oh, and it can't do area damage anymore. If you didn't understand that, I'll just put this into perspective. If you just fired 5 shots out of this weapon, it would cost you 350 mana when it used to cost you 50. 10 shots would cost you 1,450 mana. And 20 shots, what would have cost you 200 mana, costs you 6,000 mana. An impossible amount to even have, except by like the really late game players. And this nerf just completely ruined this weapon. What was really sad was when this nerf came out, I actually was not very rich. It took away like 10% of my net worth. Jerry Sheen guns literally went from 4 million coins to like 100,000 coins. It was super sad. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Honestly, the admins just should really stop with these nerfs considering their declining player count. Now, check out episode 1 of Dirt to Hyperion, where I take on one of the hardest tasks of all time, flipping from a single piece of dirt to Hyperion. If you enjoyed, please subscribe, and Zablos out.